Annyeonghaseyo from Korea. We are heading to the palace. The delegation is excited to go and explore Korea, Incheon. And we heading off.
Hi, we are heading to the Royal Palace. Is it the Royal Palace that we're heading to? We're heading to the Royal Palace. It's gonna take like half an hour, then we'll be back, and then we'll check out of Holiday Inn, and then we'll head to the airport, and then on our way to Frankfurt.
Bonjour, on est là à Francfort en Allemagne, on vient d'arriver. Et là on attend le prochain vol à Bremen, ici encore en Allemagne, avant Bonn. Donc on est bien arrivé, on a faim, parce que si tu regardes les autres, ils ont faim, ils sont en train de manger. Donc voilà, bienvenue à Francfort. Ciao.
Hola! Yep. My name is Broderick.
And my name is Gemma.
Alright, right now we're in Bremen right now. All the delegates are here. We had a long journey. We're now going to Max Institute. We're going to check out some coral reefs here. Also going to check out some of the work the Germans have been doing to help in the stop of climate change. Yeah, Gemma, right?
And also from how they conserving their biodiversity.
Alright, see you there.
What do you think of me?
Different ecosystems, but I'll show you a little bit of how it works and what you can do with it and how we make this technology available to a larger scale basically. So we call it basically monitoring the seafloor with new eyes. So you're looking with a special camera, and I'll explain you how that works. It's not like a normal camera, it's using your phone. How the eyes work, we use a hyperspectral camera, and it's a very special one. But first a tiny little bit about the Max Planck. This is one of the Max Planck Institutes in Bremen. There's a whole bunch, there's I think 20 or 30 more spread around Germany. There's also one in Holland. But basically what this one does, it's about marine microbiology. So it's really looking at the tiny stuff, the smallest inhabitants of the ocean basically. And they have basically 4 main questions, and it's like who lives there, how do they function, how diverse are they, what is their role on a larger scale, so biogeochemical cycles, and what does it mean for our environment and particularly climate. And I think that's something that's very important for you, climate change.
Useless.
Hi!
Bula, we are here at the Max Planck Institute, the Marine Microbiology Department, and we have a coral specialist here who can introduce himself and talk more about what they be doing here.
Yeah, so I'm Joost ten Haan. I'm from the Max Planck Institute and Hypersurvey. And we have a really cool underwater technology called the hyperdiver. It's basically an intelligent camera that can tell you what's present on the seafloor and in the form of the hyperdiver. And this hyperdiver we're commercializing, so anybody that's interested can use the technology. And the nice thing of it is that it can really make the invisible visible and help mitigate climate change.
Student and politics students and this is quite amazing because I don't have any science background, and to learn such productive and fruitful detailed knowledge, it's amazing. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Hello everyone, I am Nikhil. I also represent Projects Along the Pacific. I am a student at the University of the South Pacific. I study environmental science with biology emphasis, and I believe this presentation was really informative for me, and I could also use this if I want to do further studies regarding masters in science. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shivani. I'm also a student at University of the South Pacific studying environmental science with the biology pathway. And yes, this presentation was pretty good, and it has provided me with knowledge, and it is seriously going to help me in future. Thank you.
Bula everyone, I'm Tamendra Rama. I'm not a science student, but I'm a passionate climate justice activist in the Pacific and Fiji. I think the knowledge that has been shared is quite enlightening, and I wish to see this diverse, hyperdiver rather, in the Pacific, working in terms of like protecting our environment, more specifically our coral reefs.
Hello, my name is Joseph Rahula, and I'm working with Fiji Red Cross as a Gender Equality and Social Inclusion Officer, and proud to represent Projects Along the Pacific as well to the COP13 and COP23. And with the presentation, I'm very much happy with the presentation, and also as a gender person, my mind is just like a busy street when it comes to gender with climate change, and also related to everything that I've learned this morning. Once again, thank you very much.
Hello Vinaka, my name is Amasai, and I'm here representing Rainbow Pride Foundation, which is the only registered LGBT organization in Fiji. I am a trans feminist, and I work in the areas around climate change and sexual reproductive health and rights using human rights the framework. And so yeah, to me this is an interesting presentation. I'm not a science, I don't do science. Well, yeah, it's interesting how you investigate the smallest habitat in the ocean. So yeah.
My name is Anna. I'm doing my PhD right now in sustainability of democratic decision making. So I'm a political scientist doing my PhD in Oldenburg, and I'm one of the core organizers of the German-Fijian Youth Exchange, together with Kunal from the Fijian side, and also Mangi, who we will meet tomorrow. Yeah, and for me, looking at the scientific side of perspective of climate change is really interesting, because I'm always looking at it from the political side. So I guess there is a lot of things that I can take with me. So thank you very much.
Hello everybody, my name is Komal. I also represent the Projects Along the Pacific, and I'll be joining the University of the South Pacific as a staff very soon. And in terms of the presentation today, I think the Hyperdiver, the concept itself is really amazing. And I would really, I would try my best as a staff who will be responsible for initiating partnerships between organizations to see if we can make this a successful partnership with the University of the South Pacific as well, so that their relevant departments can actually try and introduce this system in Fiji as well. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Mbula everyone. My name is Gabriel Rupati. I'm a marine biologist by profession. I'm also a diver. Actually, just last week we were just like brainstormed the idea of like to have a machine that can do the reef check for us. So I'm here like in this room and see what you guys have come up with, and I'm really like glad and I'm really happy like to see that the ideas have come up and actually it will be on the market very soon. And that's why I asked the price, because believing that the networking that I'm working with can afford so for the network that I'm working with is actually with some university like Georgia, with Denmark University. So I'm helping like students from all over the world like to understand climate change in terms of like the coral concept. So getting that machine, it will be a very like an answer the doubts of climate change. So thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Tiama, and I've completed my studies doing my degree in environmental science. Actually, I'm here representing Project Survival Pacific, and back in Fiji, I'm also a volunteer conservation coordinator for WWF Pacific. And your presentation was really enlightening, and since my interest is always on the marine side, so that's why I ask a lot of questions. Yeah. And I'm very happy. Actually, when I'm here, my lecturer is still messaging me like for me to ask a lot of questions when we visit university. So that's why I ask about the ARC map tool and stuff. So yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Well, Vinaka, my name is Broderick Mervyn. Currently finishing off my bachelor's degree in law at the University of the South Pacific. I'm also a representative here for Project Survival Pacific. If there's one thing that I've taken away from your presentations is that the work has already been done. It's the implementation part as well as just trying to get the negotiations underway, because Fiji, as we already know, is facing a lot in terms of climate change. I think there has been a lot of talk. It's now for us to just start off with where we can go from here. So I'm very glad that the technology and the equipment is already there, and we'll look forward to see the many exchanges that we'll have in the future. So, Naka.
I'm Linus, and Anna invited me to come the day with this group, and the presentation was very interesting, also because I'm a hobby diver too.
Okay, so guten Tag. Hello. So, I am Joseph Heredico. I was a law student at the University of the South Pacific, but I'm currently at work in New Caledonia teaching English. And through the medium of teaching English, we also touched on climate change, especially ocean acidification, and trying to make the students understand the problems, the concepts in English, especially climate change, because some of them didn't even know what climate change was, which for me was a bit shocking. It's like saying you don't know what Louboutins are, but anyway. Yes, so your presentation was very interesting, and it's good to know that we have this in place, especially for small Pacific Island countries who are suffering from climate change, not just Fiji. And it's good to know that we have this, and congratulations to you again. And it's also good to know that there's a commercial aspect to this in order to keep your program running and funded, well funded, hopefully. And yes, thank you so much for this and creating this, making this idea a reality. Again, thank you so much. Und danke.
Oh, bit man.
Hello
Oh.
everyone, my name is Sokini. I'm a student at Fiji National University, representing Project Pacific and the Rainbow Pride Foundation of Fiji. And the presentation was interesting. It's good to know the technology in, the hyperdiver technology. It's good to know. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Eugene. I'm here representing Project Survival. Also back at home I represent Aspire Network Fiji as a project assistant. We basically focus on youth security and sustainability. Would I like to compliment you guys on your prototypes of hyperdivers? It's an awesome project, I must say. Thinking that how many ways you can use it as an advantage for the Pacific, and also monitoring our corals, especially the Pacific is a huge place. And I would like to say thank you for your hard work, and without any hesitation, I'd like to show my appreciation. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shireen. I initiated the contact with the guy. I met Guy a few years ago on the train. I'm originally from Bremen. I went to school here and I studied in the Netherlands. I just graduated my master's in global business and sustainability. So I find it very interesting to see how you try to merge the scientific side to make it accessible commercially. And I'm really curious to see also how you're trying to develop this further, also in terms of your business model. I think this is not too relevant for now, but
I have another presentation on that actually.
but yeah, I'm really happy to really see how this is connected, because I'm not from any like shoe-related oceanography side. I just went to Fiji and I was really impressed by the environment and also how like the coral reefs have progressed. So to see how you, coming from that background, can really see the connection to the site here. I'm really happy to have had this experience around here. So thank you for that, and I hope to still keep in touch and to keep this connection going in the future.
Morning. We have just left from Germany and now we are heading out to Bonn, Germany. We have just boarded the train, and the arrangements was made by one of our colleagues. And today is the first day for Boy, and
it takes 7 years.
Does it count as a fine or euro? How much do we charge for not asking permission to video?
remember, it's in the agreement. We can take a photo and video anywhere, anytime, doing anything.
Ya, nggak usah record lang sebagai itu lagi record na bos. 15 euro. God lako. Cara menggunakan kamera. Pas soalnya. Ngomong kawan apa? Oh, nampak sih.
Last night. Die haben uns halt gefragt, ob wir mit Zeit und deutsch-fijianischen Jugendaustausch organisieren. Also wir wussten, dass wir es selber nicht organisiert bekommen, aber das Geld können sie halt bereitstellen. Und wir gesagt, ja, okay, machen wir mal. Und dann haben wir es innerhalb weniger Monate irgendwie hochgezogen. Also ein Projekt von der Größenordnung, was eigentlich über ein Jahr Planung braucht.
You may start.
So we just finished a plenary discussion right now, in which 5 of our youths were involved, and after this we have started with our Talanwa concept, the Talanwa sessions. So there's 5 breakout groups, for example oceans, food security, youth engagement and all those, education. So they're talking, so there's a mixture of the audience, the Fijian delegation and the German delegation, and they're talking over different thematic areas. And they'll be presenting after 15 minutes to the audience about their findings. Thank you.
probably going for the
Walk.
So I want to represent over 100 countries doing Earth observations. So we use satellites and sensors. So we're looking at things like the
Oh yeah, we also talk about an issue was when lesbian women were too scared to access evacuation centers because of their sexuality, and they couldn't even go to evacuation center with their partner and children because they were scared. And also for transgender women, how they were also scared to go to evacuation center because of their identity and having to choose whether to go and sleep with men or with women, this is the kind of thing. So for us, it was more about trying to have conversations, shifting away from the non-gender binary and talking about the whole gender diversity and being inclusive of everyone when we're talking about climate change policy or resilience, that no one is left behind. And how do we talk about each and individual's human security, the interlinkage from the Sustainable Development Goal 2030, leaving no one behind, the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250, in terms of making sure that all gender people are not.
Lavina, my name is Sivendra Michael and I am from Fiji. I am a PhD researcher at the University of Auckland, and I also work for British Council as their program specialist for the Whaling Voices project.
So how was COP23 and COI13 for you?
For me, COI13 was very powerful as youths were able to share their experiences and also lobby for what changes they want their leaders to make in terms of implementation of Paris Agreement. We had a very effective Talanoa session in COI13 where youths were able to express themselves openly, and they called on governments to support young people in implementation and involvement in policy making processes. For me, COP23 was an amazing experience as well, where we were able to network with leaders. However, at this point of time, I still feel that more young people need to be involved in the negotiation processes, especially for the formulation of NDCs of countries. I feel that young people need to be more consulted and more involved in every aspect of decision making, because the decisions they are making are concerning us and our future generation. They need to also stop negotiating because they are almost negotiating our lives. For example, I do not know if my young 3-year-old would have an island to call home because of the adverse effects of climate change. So they need to stop negotiating on the opening of a new coal mine, for example, in Australia, or on the continuation of the existing coal mines in Germany. This needs to stop, and they need to start acting now.
And what are some lessons or key points you'll take away from this exchange program?
Personally, one of the lessons learned is for us to voice out. As youths, we need to speak at forums, at panel sessions, and be involved. We need to make sure that our voices are heard, and the only way to do that is for us to be able to network and engage and to find spaces where we can express ourselves. Spaces where leaders are presenting, spaces where we are able to make interventions with some authority, that our voices are heard and our voices are passed on to the negotiation space.
Is there any final remarks from yourself?
My final remarks is for us to use the experiences of COP and COI13 to continue our advocacy work back home. I feel that as young people, we are the leaders of tomorrow, and we need to continue this journey together. We need to work hand in hand and not in silos. We need to establish partnerships with our stakeholders so that we can enforce, ensure, and recognize the voices of all young people in the Pacific Island countries.